Welcome back to the GSL. I'm Tasis. With me is Artosis. We saw the fruit dealer deal some deadly fruit.
Yeah, man. Poison pears in that kid's Easter basket,
exploding
man.
pineapples.
Like, that was it.
That was brutal.
God.
Fruit, of course, also known as Cool, who we were referring to as a cast, but in this tournament using the ID a fruit dealer.
Yeah, man. Dropped a durian on that kid's head.
It's not even just fruit dealer. It's a fruit dealer.
Yeah.
Not even the fruit dealer. I like that. Now, next, we have two very important players.
OGS Top versus Polt Prime.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. You know, we were talking to Spunky a little bit earlier, and they
Yeah.
do a lot of ranking matches in the OGS house. And Top, a player people aren't really seeing all that much, is actually ranked number 1 right now in the whole OGS team.
Yeah, so basically, when he plays the other OGS players, this guy does the best.
Yeah. You know.
If I could just regurgitate what you said in a different way.
There you go.
Here's our players.
Another way to say that is, yeah, man, he's the best player
He
in
might
OGS.
be the best player in OGS. Now, Polt Prime showed us that wicked build order, actually.
Yeah, he had some sick build orders. He actually knocked out Jongmin Chul, a.k.a. Iron from the old NBC
we did not
StarCraft 1 Pro
expect.
team. And Iron actually was showing a lot of results towards the end of his StarCraft 1 career. Great player, so highly ranked, one of the best in OGS, yet Polt Prime destroyed him. Now, OGS Top, well, he took out Winged Prime, a lesser Protoss from the Prime team.
A lesser Prime.
Lesser Prime, man. Like a Prime child. It's like Bumblebee of Primes. We can't even talk.
He's Polt. I'm really curious actually about the full potential of this guy, because the build orders he did in the game we saw in the round of 64 was so good.
Yeah,
it actually kind of caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, that's actually genius.
Yeah.
His usage of Banshees and everything.
Absolutely. I was talking to him after that match, and he seemed like such a collected, intelligent guy. I'm really looking forward to this TVT, because a lot of times TVT is about just outsmarting your opponent overall in the game plan. You know, if you start going the same units, it's very hard to break each other. So either, you know, win with an early good build order, or you can just outmaneuver your opponent in the long term with great strategical play.
Yeah,
and
a lot of tech
here.
shifting too.
Yeah.
In TVT.
You know, if OGS Top is the best player in OGS, obviously he should be kind of favored, but I don't know. Polt Prime is really, really good.
Yeah.
Such a smart player that really helps a lot in mirror matchups. So
that's true. He's kind of a dark horse player. We just don't know what to expect. We don't have our players in the game, so hopefully there will not be a delay. We only have OGS Top in there right now. Here is our map lineup.
And it looks like Delta Quadrant is going to be first, Zelnaga Cavern second, Scrap Station third, Top removing Blistering Sands and Desert Oasis, Polt removing Desert Oasis and Lost Temple. And, well, it's TVT, so there's no real balance to talk about on these maps.
Well, there's definitely a lot of different play styles you can have. And Polt Prime has joined the game, and we do have confirmation that the game is ready to go. So we're going to do this.
Total sickness. Strong players.
They are deadly players. These two guys, actually, this might be one of our highest level TVTs.
Yeah,
we've seen, the world they've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so interested to see what strategy they're going to use here. This map, of course, you can expand behind your main base, but it is TVT, so I don't know if we're going to see that as the first expansion. I would imagine that's going to be a second or third expansion choice, just because you can defend so easily with siege tanks in this matchup.
This matchup is actually such an interesting mirror matchup, the way that it works, because a lot like Terran versus Terran StarCraft 1, not as much. It's about positioning. StarCraft 1, Terran versus Terran was a huge chess game. This game, it's about positioning, but then tech shifting.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if your opponent's going tank Marauder heavily, and you could tech shift into a few Banshees really quickly, then you can completely change his positioning. It's really interesting. But, you know, if he's going Banshees and you tech shift into a few Vikings, and all of a sudden you catch him off guard and you can land on his siege tanks. There's so much stuff that can go on. And this is definitely one of the mirror matchups that we're still trying to figure out fully.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, TVT, even in StarCraft 1 over the years, underwent so many different changes, and already TVT in StarCraft 2 has undergone so many as well. Like, you get to this critical mass of Vikings, for instance, if you're going tank Viking versus tank Viking, if you actually get too many Vikings, if you get too few, you lose. And if you get too many, someone just makes a bunch of Marauders and kills you.
Yeah.
So it's these really strange balances have to be kept. Really strange tech switches come into play. And, of course, the opening build orders mean a lot in this game. I really hope we see at least one player open Banshees. I love Banshee openings in Terran vs. Terran Tasteless.
Banshee is just very strong in this matchup. Of course, because not only do Banshees kill things very quickly, but if you get Cloak and you force him to scan and your Banshee escapes, they've wasted a mule.
Yeah.
So there's techniques where you get Banshees float around and just force them to scan, and then when that scan comes out, you run for it, you book it out of there.
You gain so many minerals. I mean, if you make them waste one additional mule, that's basically 300 to 400 minerals lost.
Yeah.
Depending on patches and stuff like that. So, you can almost just go Banshee, and if you make them waste 2 scans, just make a command center,
Yeah.
There you go, man. Here you go. Here's your command center.
Yeah,
that's why I love Banshee openings.
I can't emphasize enough, guys, how powerful the mule is. If you're new to StarCraft, and we do want to appeal to everybody out here, just test it yourself. See the difference in the amount of stuff you're going to get.
His face kind of looks like a very old probe.
It does, actually. It looks like an aged probe.
It's like they took a StarCraft 1 probe and put some SCV armor around it, and now it's a mule. And that would actually make a lot of sense, considering probes in StarCraft 1 were so good. If only the mule had attacks, man.
Yeah, oh my god. Imagine that.
You just rush with 4 Marines and a mule and just kill the enemy base. You can't even lift off in time.
Drop
the mule
mules
just
on him.
slaps it down.
You scan, and then you use the rest of your energy to drop mules on him. All right, here we go. The factory almost done. We don't see anything too crazy just yet. He does have the reactor add-on. Starport on the way over here, and 1 Hellion for OGS top.
Yeah, pretty interesting play, and Hellion Marine rushes can be quite effective in this matchup. A lot of people try to skimp on defenses, skimp on early units, and if you just go over there with a Hellion or 2, as well as 4 or 5 Marines, sometimes you can just do so much damage. So much damage.
So much damage.
Tons of damage to Aces.
I gotta say, I actually really enjoy that open, especially on Steps of War. That's doing stuff like that.
Yeah, in such close positions, and again, this map, pretty close positions, actually. The map, I know it is a 4-player map, but the natural to natural is not a very long rush distance.
Look at that, actually. They're actually quite close together.
Well,
oh, that's a gold, excuse me. Right when I did it, I'm
it's
like
even closer.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes, gold is natural? That's not a balanced map.
He's moving out with the 3 Hellions now.
I like it, but no Marines being brought. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of Marines. If he brings those as well, maybe he can bust. But there is a siege tank there. Has to run away. Siege tanks owning up Hellions, man. And that barracks just floating.
Yeah, he didn't land it. He is getting a Banshee. He is getting Cloak. As you guys can see over here, we have a reactor on the starport. So he's getting the Vikings.
And this is why he didn't send the Marines. Polt Prime with the Vikings not going to be able to kill the Banshee so easily because, Vikings are great. They have long range and everything, but Marines kill them so fast.
Well, Marines have such high damage per second that actually it's actually kind of insane. Now, hold on. He's got Hellions right outside of here, so he can't scout, but he can get in here. The Banshee's been spotted.
And he may be able to get this Banshee. It went in the wrong direction, gets the Banshee, and now Polt can run away, and that is so huge. Gets it right before Cloak is done. The Marines misplaced there. No reason for them to be at the map when you have Hellions outside of your opponent's space. That was a total mistake by OGS top. And Polt Prime, man, even if you're the best in OGS, Polt Prime has the ability to take you out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with the Marine pointers. You need to just have the Marines underneath the Banshee. You've got him contained and stuff.
And he knows something is awry, throwing up 2 more barracks, as we see on the production tab.
As soon as we can see here, he's continuing to just harass. Now, he's going to move out right now because he realizes it's only 1 scan to get that Banshee. And he can get some containment on him. This is going to force the command center away. The destructible rocks over here haven't been picked off, so this could be a little bit of a pickle.
These Vikings are doing so much damage. And here come 2 siege tanks, 5 Marines against about 6 or 7 Marines and a siege tank of top.
Now going over here, you can see he's continuing to stick with the Banshees, and we actually have Hellion Harass over here.
Surrounding him with a couple of SCVs and a Marauder as well as a landed Viking, looking like they want to take out this last Hellion. And easily done.
Meanwhile, we have a Banshee over here that's going to harass.
And, you know, with that cloak, he can outrun the Vikings sometimes if scanned incorrectly. And that's just really great harass there, man. Banshee opening, so good.
And he's got to be careful. He doesn't have a ton of energy on that Banshee.
No, he does not. And no one with an expansion up quite yet. And look at this.
This is a mistake.
Bringing in a Banshee, a couple's tanks, siege jump, wants to kill the Marines. Not going to happen, but look at this. Where is the anti-air here of OGS top? It's so far back.
Getting low.
Wow, the range on those Vikings.
That was close. Now, remember, siege tanks can shoot. You can see that this is the range of the tanks. They don't have that same vision, so you need these Vikings up here to spot for that kind of stuff. And oh no! It looks like OGS Stop is just going to try to come out here and bust.
A very bad idea, but it looks like he will get through these siege tanks, losing so many units. I really like that for Polt Prime. You know, a lot of SCVs died, a lot of units died, and Polt Prime, with his expansion up already, he's in a great position right now. Has way more SCVs. Let's take a look at this unit tab. 34 SCVs against 22, and just more units overall. Well, not more units, but very similar amount of units.
Well, he just has that economic edge. He's already been dropping a lot of mules. Actually, a lot of mules here. You can see Polt Prime missed a beat there.
Yeah, once you kill that Banshee, you're like, oh, I don't need to save scans anymore. Bam, 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 bam. Mules.
Now, he's going to edge in here again. Siege tank's already up in siege mode, but he knows that he scans. And I guess he's going to just drop these Vikings over here.
And removes that siege tank. So good play by Polt Prime. He's got 2 tanks in siege mode. He's got to be careful, though.
Remember, this command center, or orbital command now, is very low on HP.
Yeah, it is.
So, I mean, if he makes a few mistakes here, this thing can actually be destroyed. But there are a lot of Marauders.
Yeah, this may be a mistake. Stin Marauders take out siege tanks very quick, but his own Marauders and siege tanks coming as well. And this command center has to lift off. Where are the Vikings to deal extra damage?
Here comes an attack. He rushes forward. But it looks like, again,
good tank targeting. Very good tank targeting. Hitting instead of SCVs to deal splash damage to his own tanks, hitting those Marauders, and I just love Polt's play, man. This guy is such a good Terran.
Yeah, he's really strong. We definitely were not incorrect in being unsure about this guy's skill.
Oh, man, I'm quite sure. He's very, very good. That's exactly how good he is, Stasis. Very,
very good. It's a very precise measurement.
This is.
Now, Polt Prime needs to be careful not to overextend himself, actually. I mean, as you can see here, he's actually getting behind in supply. So, I mean, it may be he's being a little bit too aggressive. Here comes a drop down here.
And I do like, what's he going to do? Get some supply depots, maybe? No, going for SCVs. And with 3 Marauders, takes a couple volleys.
It wouldn't hurt to get this supply depot.
Yeah.
Considering that's actually 2 supply depots in one.
It's actually one of the first things I target with mutas when I go into a base. If I see one of those, like, well, here you go, red supply.
Yeah. Now, this is 82 supply versus 68. So Polt Prime is actually starting to get behind. So clearly, macro-wise, you know, OGS Top can just crank out a ton of units.
Yeah, he's got so many units, man. And here we go, another nice little drop. So much harass here. Killing some more SCVs. And a Banshee for Polt Prime as well. Multi-pronged harass, I love it. He doesn't even know his SCVs, his main base are under attack. And that is pretty big, man. That's Banshee huge. Totally tricked him out.
He shouldn't even be attacking with these SCVs because in StarCraft 2, the target firing is based off of whatever unit is attacking you that's closest. Oh, we have a counterattack, though.
Big attack here.
This might be the only way that OGS Stop can recover.
But there is a Banshee here. Only 1 Marine out there. The Banshee alone can take out this army.
All he has to do is keep enough SCVs alive, but the Banshee attacks so fast, deals so much damage. Banshee easily one of the best units in the game. Nice landing the Viking back here.
And although he does some decent damage there, I mean, look at that. No SCVs there.
Uh-oh.
Top is in trouble.
Someone call the fireman. That depot burned down. Polt is looking so good right now.
Yeah, they're
he's
both
still
very
down.
low supply, though.
Yeah, he's still... Well, they've actually been taking so many swings at each other. Their supply count can never actually get that much higher. And it does appear as though OGS top is superior mechanically as far as macro goes. Polt, for whatever reason, is getting a little bit more and more behind here, even though we got the expansion up.
And you know what I really like? Polt Prime right now. He is getting Cloak, and I think that is a great, great idea. You know, there's just so many Marauders and tanks being made, but look at this,
Vikings.
Marines and Vikings coming out, so never mind, that's a horrible idea.
Actually, if he gets this one or two big attacks off over here, he could take out this command center. I mean, as he just edges in here.
You know, this is a funny thing about mules. Even though it's kind of a low economy, low unit game, and they keep killing each other's SCVs and whatnot, you just drop your mules down, and you can still produce so many units.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man.
More than kind of crazy, Tasteless. Really crazy.
It's cray-cray. We have, like, kind of a lull here in the storm. So, as you can see inside their bases, heavy production coming from these guys. But you can see that these buildings are more oftentimes lit up over here. He is doing a little bit of Banshee harassment here. Now, that is a forced scan. And here comes a possible drop. Anything being planned out over here?
He may, you know, I don't think he's going to be able to break this, really. And he shows the dropships loading up. So, kind of interesting, but here he goes. Looks like he may just want to drop and see what kind of damage he can do before those tanks can unsiege and come in and clean it up.
This drop actually could change everything here.
A lot of Marauders coming out. They're going to kill buildings so fast. Charting tap labs. But here comes the army. A lot of Marines in there as well. Kills a dropship.
Nice.
Kills a Viking. That dropship had four Marauders in it. Wow, very good by Polt Prime. But we don't see any medevacs for him yet. So that stim costing a lot of hit points off of his
it's
army.
essentially like his whole army was just hit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a medevac.
Good.
Never mind. Turn off these hit point bars right now. Here's another drop in the back of his opponent's base. And as you can see, OGS top going for that depot. The super supply depot.
And the Marines, will they get it? No.
No.
Never mind.
NM.
Crazy, crazy game so far. We see Polt right now. He's upgrading concussive shells, and he is upgrading combat shields. So definitely going to stay with a very bionic heavy army. And this is actually really good in low econ games. Bio beats tanks. You just can't get enough tanks. You get so much map presence. You can just spread out. Bio, a really great thing to go right now.
Well, it's the Marauder, or as the Koreans call the Fire Bear. That's actually what it's called in the Korean version, the Fire Bear. There's the Fire Bear guy.
They also call it a something that translates loosely to "it has no mother," aka "no shame."
Yeah.
Because the Marauder just kills everything.
It's with the problem with engaging a Marauder. I mean, everybody knows this, but it's so frustrating when you engage. Is if you're losing the battle, you're not going to get away.
Yeah.
It's going to kill off everything you have because those grenades slow down everything. Okay.
We have some drops going on at Polt Prime's base. More Marauder drops. Just unrelenting harassment. And Polt moving out at the same time. Cleans that up with some rallied out units, but it looks like he wants to attack.
He's got to be careful here. These tanks are in siege mode. Actually, it's something he cannot actually engage. The medevac's being chased away.
And he really should have stemmed those Marines.
OGS top just looking so good. But
yeah, man, top is amazing.
He's going for the eBay. He knows he needs to get those upgrades over here. But in fact, the Terran is not even upgrading here. OGS top is not even upgrading.
I really like this little drop right here. He's going to bring a lot of units back. Lands the Vikings, but Marauders so good against Vikings. Going to lose a lot of them. Look at that. One left, too.
That's unreal. We have another attack coming in over here.
Boy.
And his tank started siege mode. This could cost him the game.
Yeah, it looks like he is in a huge amount of trouble here.
Oh my God, I think that did it.
Oh,
He
man.
didn't have the tanks in siege mode. His drops were not quite as effective. And Polt Prime, even though he's a good player, I don't think he can stop this attack. I think this game might be over. This was a really high-level Terran versus Terran.
Very, very true. He's got this great amount of siege tanks, and just nothing that can possibly be done here by Polt. Really, such great crisis management here in this low econ game by OGS Top. We really see this guy has improved a lot since the last round.
He tries to bring out a Banshee in the hopes that he can do some more damage, but no, nothing. Happening. And I got to say, OGS Top, that was some scary high-level Terran versus Terran.
Yeah. That just great play. Kept his supply above all game long. There's great harassment by both sides, great tech switches. I really enjoyed this entire TVT.
You can see at high-level Terran, the amount of harassment you can do is just awesome because the medevac is such a cool unit.
Yeah, medevac, Banshees, even landing Vikings from time to time. And more units coming. I don't know why Polt Prime still in this game.
And it looks like it's going to be his last chance to try to come back here. Siege tanks are in siege, but that doesn't matter. GG, Polt Prime losing that game, but that was a very high-level game. I really thought OGS Top, look at that. See that wrist turn? Try that at home. Do that right now. That's actually good for your wrists if you play StarCraft. Do it. That's why they do that. That's what they train the pro gamers. It's good to stretch your wrist out.
And that's important. You need to know keyboard health, man. In fact, there's seminars in Korea on how to stay healthy while playing video games all day long.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
I know there's somewhere in the world right now there's a PTA mom freaking out, if she heard that there's, video games on TV, but, that's right, that motion right there.
I feel like
very
a cheerleader right now.
I feel really manly doing this.
Yeah, man.
But no, it's very good for your wrist. A lot of pro gamers do that in between the games to make sure that the tendons here and stuff don't tighten. Don't do it too hard, but just you'll feel the stretch.
Someone breaks
This is another good one too, is to do that as well.
Oh, I love doing that.
That's good. That's very good for you. All right, we're going to go into the second game pretty quickly here. I got to say that first game we saw, though, was really high-level Terran
impressive by both players.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually probably one of the most high-level games we've seen for a mirror matchup. But it's clear that OGS Top just has better macro. He can just produce more units. He's more resilient. You can harass him and attack him, and it just bounces off of him. And this is the player who has the most wins in training for the OGS team. We're going to get this started. Let's go.